Night is the new day. The reason why I wanted to show this is because this right here is my first Katatonia album. I know I probably could have also shown the artwork that I've also had for my other albums since I own every Katatonia album. It's just, I don't know, I thought it might be redundant if I show every single album cover even though I was already showing the artwork as part of the intro, but no, I could try that for the next discography review that I do. So, yeah, but anyway, I wanted to show everyone this because this album in particular has a lot of sentimentality with me. And now, let's get started. So on 2009's Night is the New Day, Katatonia would be seeking yet again another new direction in their style of music. In contrast to the heavier, colder, more robotic sound and style of The Great Cold Distance, Night is the New Day actually has a bit more heart in its recording. The production is definitely a lot more crisp. The drums themselves don't sound as like, do 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 as on the previous album. Like, the drums actually sound a lot more natural. I'm not criticizing the drum sound of the previous album. I'm just saying that Great Cold Distance, it's more like robotic and cold. On Night is the New Day, it definitely sounds a lot more natural and human. I think they're going for like a way more like humane, warmer, like filled with a lot more heart sound on this album, and there's even a lot more like electronic flourishes, a lot more trip hop influences a la Massive Attack, if you will. And this is especially prevalent in songs like The Longest Year, Liberation. Departer is probably the most perfect example of this. And Onward into Battle is a very lush track. It's very keyboard heavy, and yeah, it's another great standout. On Idle Blood also comes to mind. But don't worry, with its warmth comes its heaviness. There are definitely some really kick-ass heavy moments on this album. Like I said, Longest Year definitely has a really heavy chorus. Forsaker is a really crushing track that opens up the album on a fantastic note. And Day and Then the Shade is probably one of my all-time favorite Katatonia songs, period. And that's like near the end of the song. It's the penultimate song of the album, and yeah, it's just another kick-ass standout. I don't think the album is quite as consistent as an album like Viva Emptiness. I think some of the songs may have like a sort of inconsistent flow to it. Like 1 second they may be going heavy and then all of a sudden they may be going soft. So I think the flow of the album is a little bit inconsistent. Maybe they could have not so much worked on the songs a little bit more. Maybe a couple, but maybe just like rework the track listing a little bit. I think that could have made the flow a little bit better, but I think the flow's still really good just as it is, but maybe flip around a few songs here and there. I can't really think of any to switch up off the top of my head, but that's just a minor nitpick. In fact, the more I listen to this album, I think the more it's like grown on me. I think at first, when I first listened to it, I loved it. Like after a little bit, I kind of grew tired of it a little bit, like just after a while. But I've been getting back into this album like a little while ago, and I think it has definitely grown on me way more. It's kind of weird. It's like a roller coaster. I love it, then maybe a little then I love it once again. And it still has that sentimental charm because this is my first Katatonia album, as I said before. I didn't actually pick this album up the year it came out. I bought this in 2011, which, yeah, it was about a year and a half after the album's initial release date. But regardless, I still had this for a while. Like, I consider a year and a half to be long enough for me to feel nostalgic. Not quite, but a little bit. But regardless, it still has that charm. I guess if I were to complain a little bit, I guess maybe the middle part of the song Liberation, kind of lacks a little bit, and for some reason I kind of feel the need to change songs or something. That's just what I get nowadays. Like the middle part of Liberation, like at first it's fantastic, it's booming, the chorus is awesome, the verses are great, and then I guess the middle solo section it kind of lacks a bit. Whenever I'm listening to the album all the way through, I guess it sounds fine, but when I'm listening to the song on its own, I'm just picking out individual tracks. I guess I don't know, something feels a little bit lacking, but I don't know. That's just me. Regardless of my criticisms, it's still a very strong album. Again, it wouldn't be able. It's not going to be an album like Viva Emptiness or Discouraged Ones. No, definitely not. But I still consider it to be very strong for what it is. It's a very worthy effort from this amazing band. And it's my first Katatonia album. If this album had sucked, I probably wouldn't have checked out any more of their discography and become such a huge fan of them. But I have. They're my favorite band of all time. Don't be fooled by the Blind Guardian shirt. I love this band to death. Blind Guardian, they are amazing. But Katatonia will always be my favorite for many years to come. And I guess that's all I have to say really about this release. Thank you very much for watching again, and stay tuned for Dead End Kings.